So, for those gentlemen that don't know, we've had two sessions so far. The first one was on recruiting. The second one was primarily on orientation. And this one will be primarily on retention. Um, but as always, if any of you have a particular question about something, whether it be a guest night or whatever it may be, you're welcome to contact me directly. And I'm happy to talk about your particular circumstance and deal with that, because the things we talk about are guidelines. Every chapter is a little bit different. Every chapter has different numbers of people to do the jobs. And some chapters may be just happy that they have one person that said, yeah, I'll be membership guy. And they feel all they have to do is greet people at the door and maybe hold one or two guest nights a year and they've done their job. Well, that's not going to grow a chapter. So, hey, Bill.
Hey, how are you doing?
So let's talk about retention, shall we? Does anybody here have a problem with retention in their chapter? No?
We all do.
I think we all do the different circumstances, right? Because attrition is something we all deal with. We can bring in 3 new members, but we may lose 4 that year due to whatever reason. So trying to retain members for as long as possible is a good thing. I'd love to give you some beautiful stats that say how long the average member stays. But from past courses that I've heard, if people are going to leave, they'll leave within the first 1 to 3 years for whatever reason. And I'm getting a nod from Sid over there, or he's having a seizure. I'm not quite sure.
No, that's correct. That's what we learned at the Big Leap is 70% don't make it to the second year. And if they make it to the 5th year, they're probably a life member. So you're pretty much spot on, Bob.
Yeah. So what reasons, I'd like to get a little counseling here, do people leave your chapter or have left? Do you even know?
Maybe. Right now, I'd say there's 3 or 4 family. They've got some stuff to do. In fact, we were still up around 16 to 20 during the first couple of years of COVID. We were holding everything online on Zoom. And then a couple of years ago, there about half of them decided to go on sabbatical or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I'll add this too. This was about, gosh, I'm closing in on 50, I think it is. Anyway, this was about 30 years ago, and I forgot to pay my dues. Well, pretty soon there was a really thick letter came from the society. It was one of the most extensive surveys I'd ever seen. They wanted to know everything about my experience with the society. How was I recruited? How many chapters was I in? How many quartets? Did I compete? Hold office? Everything they wanted to know. Well, I hurriedly paid my dues and left out of it. But yeah, the society I'm not sure if they still do that, but at that time they wanted to know why you were leaving.
And it's an important thing. And a lot of chapters, I don't think, take the time to follow up on somebody, or they just take their answer for granted. But the bottom line with retention is people have other things to do. You've only got so much time. And the primary things that they're concerned with that are going to win out over barbershop, believe it or not, family and faith, funds, and friends.
Yep.
And those are going to be reasons to leave barbershop. It might be health as well, but I think it's important, if somebody is going to leave your chapter, to recognize it early and not just wonder 6 months down the line, hey, I haven't seen Fred in a while. So to that extent, it seems more like elementary school, but I think it's important to take attendance.
Yeah.
And why? Not to keep track of somebody and say, hey, you're only here 40% of the time. Everybody else is here 70. What's the deal? No. But if someone's missing and they haven't called in to say they're going to be missing a couple of weeks because of a work thing or a vacation or taking care of their mother or whatever, attendance wise, if they're gone for 2 weeks in a row, you can check on them It's good to have somebody, some people call it a sunshine person. You can call it whatever you want, but somebody that's on the membership team. So more than one person doing membership team that's going to call up or email them and say, hey, you missed the last 2 weeks. We missed you. Is everything okay?
Yep.
And that's important. And people feel that they belong to something other than, oh, well, no one cares if I'm there or not. I'm just
Exactly.
part of the section.
Yep.
And I don't mean anything. So as you go along with each member, especially in their first year, making them feel appreciated, making sure they know what they're getting into and what's expected of them is another important thing. One of the things that Bob Cox supplied me with was a letter of expectation that the Salem chapter has for new members. Now, why is that important? You can go into as much detail as you want, but in the one they had, it talks about uniform expectations, attendance, riser discipline. If you have something negative to say, do it in private, not in public, which I think is general common sense, but it's surprising. Some people, when they want to be heard, especially in capitals, never mind, I don't get there. So things like that can make a difference. Showing gratitude when somebody does something, even the littlest thing. Periodically, I will send emails to members of our chapter if they do a good job emceeing, Bill Hickman, or a guy that sets up our risers every time. He's 78 years old, I believe, and he's been doing our risers and hauling them for years. And I say, why don't you pass the torch on that? He said, it's really no trouble, but thanks for acknowledging.
If I could intercede here, Bob, it's not something you should do occasionally. It is always noticing and responding to the little things that are done. Everybody knows who Peyton Manning is, right? He's the former quarterback for the Colts and for the Broncos, right? One of the things that he is most famous for is not football. It is for having stood around and thanked the people who swept the stadium, people who take care of the little things in life. That's what he's remembered for, not for having won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah. So
in addition, it's also if you have a large chapter, if you have a lot of us don't anymore, but if you have a large chapter, 40, 50 guys, it's really hard for a single membership person to actually keep track of what's going on. That's one of the jobs that your section leaders can handle, because they know who's in their section, they know who's missing, and they're the ones that can alert them. And getting an email from a section leader and an email from a membership guy saying, hey, we missed you. Is anything okay? Do you need help? We'd sure love to have you back. Goes a long ways toward keeping people involved.
Agreed. Another way to keep people involved is for everybody to have a job in the chapter. If people don't have a little skin in the game, it's a lot easier to walk away. So I think that should be an expectation in every chapter, that everybody has a job, regardless of what it is. It could be putting out the guest books at the beginning of a meeting. It could be handling the guest book as somebody comes in, helping with the risers, making sure everybody's got their uniform, whatever it is. It's good to make a list of all these things and get people signed up, and not do it in the way where you say, who would like to do this? And just make it a big broadcast, because you're not going to get much response most times. I think you'll have more luck if you go up to an individual and say, hey, I think you'd really be good at this. We need this job done. Would you mind trying it for a while? I'll be happy to shadow you to make sure you know what's going on. And I think somebody say, okay, I'll give it a go. And the same applies when you're looking for members. Everybody thinks that at the end of a performance, if they say, hey, we rehearse every Tuesday night at 7:00, love to see you there. Well, probably not going to get many results of that. Not to say you won't get any, but it's better to go up and talk to individuals and say, hey, I saw you moving your mouth during our performance. You must be a singer. Love to have you just come out to a rehearsal and just see what we're about. If you don't like it, no harm, no foul, but I think you will. Something like that, okay? So get everybody a job in the course is going to make them stay around a little bit longer. 2, Somebody comment? Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes we have guys that come for a while and then life happens, family, all the things you mentioned. We had a guy that was singing with us last year, and then he actually showed up for one of rehearsals a couple weeks ago. And I was thinking, huh. I talked to him. His kids are out of the house, and he just wants to make sure he has the time to commit. And I think one way to do that, if they're in that on the fence like that, is, hey, Christmas is coming up. Because we're already thinking about a Christmas event, because that's kind of something they can jump in. They don't have to pay to go to contest or anything like that, and kind of reset the hook, or set the hook, but more importantly, reset the hook, kind of thing. If they're trying to jump back in,
I think it's important to be flexible, just like that, to say, hey, that's okay if you're going to miss out on whatever it is, but come back in it when you can. But just don't let them leave. Okay. Other things to do with people is to know your members. I think it's important for the board, especially, to know the members, the pros and cons of everybody and what their life experience is. And chapters do that in different ways. When I joined Tualatin Valley 35 years ago, Chuck Olson did a 5-minute interview with me in front of the chorus, welcoming me as a new member and asking me some simple questions. Our chorus in Bellevue, we have a person that requests bios on people, and they'll ask them questions, and it's in the membership roster of the chorus, so you can find out. But another thing that our new membership person is doing is we're having a contest. I think it's weekly, where he gives a description of one of the members. Can you guess who it is?
Yeah.
Now, I know this has been done by Sweet Adelines and stuff, but it's a neat little thing because it makes you think, and try to remember back, did I talk to somebody that had that experience or what? And so last week we found out one of our members has had 3 near-death experiences, but he also took communion from the Pope. Not the most recent one, but another one. Anyway, just some fascinating stuff. So you can think of your own methodology to get to know your members better. And that way also they can find commonalities. You know, we have a number of bike riders in our chorus, a number of techie gamers, and a variety of things. So think up an idea that's going to get your members to know each other better. I think that'll also help eliminate cliquish stuff. I think we've all
one thing that I would like to add, Bob, you mentioned, I think twice since we've been here, on the membership team, have somebody do this, somebody do that. One of the best descriptions of retention and membership I ever heard was that everybody in the chapter is on the membership team. Everybody on the chapter is on the retention team. It's a mind shift. It's our joy to have people come join us and make them want to come back each week. Because the truth is, people vote with their feet. If they find something else that's more important, or they feel that they're being ignored, they will use their feet and go someplace else. And we can make a difference. It doesn't have to be a formal member of a team. Just get people thinking about engaging more with people around and making them. It's friendship. It's fellowship. It's the fun of coming together in doing something that is wholly different from everything else we do in our lives.
True that. It was interesting. We had at one point we had 3 guys from Canada drive down each week to the Seattle area for our rehearsal. And the biggest compliment that could have been paid, he said, Bob, I feel more welcome here than I do in my own chapter. You know, so that's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear. So make members feel appreciated. Maybe they've accomplished something outside of barbershop. Maybe they've had a promotion at work. They're having another kid. They just got a new house. All these type of things to build the fellowship within the chorus are going to help aid in retention. Everything that happens in the chapter is going to affect retention, believe it or not. The size of your repertoire. What do you have in your repertoire? You know, does the director decide everything, or the music team, or do they ask people in the chapter, do you have any ideas for songs that we should sing? If you,
Can I share something?
yeah,
Um, this is relatively recent. Just before COVID, uh, I was singing with Tacoma Vocal Standard, and there were 3 songs that that I could not sing. They were just too difficult. They were actually quartet songs that were written for specific quartets. And for the average singer that's 70 some odd years old, it was just too much. So I went to the music guys and I said, I can't sing this. And I was basically told, well, just fake it. Well, I don't feel like I'm contributing if I'm just faking it. And if I can't sing it, and there were other arrangements available for the material. So I basically, at the end of that rehearsal, I left and I didn't come back. And a year and a half later, they finally realized I wasn't there anymore because the president, who became the immediate past president, showed up at my house and said, we've noticed you haven't been there. I go, yeah, for 18 months. You know, that certainly didn't encourage me to come back. And there could have been something that they could have done to bring me back. And then and this all happened, and then COVID hit.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Stuff happens, but I think taking attendance, whether it be somebody on the membership team, which everybody should be, you know, might be the section leader or assistant section leader, that will help cut that out. Another reason people leave, and I gave this example, I think last week, there's one of our chapters in Evergreen, really sound chapter. And one of their members quit after 3 months because everybody stopped talking to him. They were eager to talk to him when they were recruiting him and trying to get him to join. But as soon as he hopped on the moving train of what chapters are, he left. They ghosted him. So he just left. And nobody said anything for a while because they weren't taking attendance. So something to do there.
Yeah, Bob Cox suggested that along with Will, our director, that I start taking attendance. I'm very new at this membership stuff, and so I did that, and it seems to be really helping. I'm emailing everybody out, making sure that if I don't see them, I just not that I'm checking up on them, but can we help? And it seems to be being accepted well. And they say, "Oh, yeah. Life came in. I'm sorry. I'll see you in a couple weeks." And so,
yeah. And how you do it makes a big difference there, Mark.
Yeah, does.
We had a situation where one of our members years ago was taking care of his sick mother, so he missed 3 weeks.
Right.
And one of the members called up and said, "Man, we really need you. Come on, we need some baritones. You got to be here." You know, and trying to make him feel guilty. And I'm going,
No.
Life comes up. You have to appreciate people for the time that they are there.
Exactly.
They're going to be going on work trips and vacations and stuff. So be flexible.
Yeah.
And all the more reason why we all need more members so we can accommodate people coming in and out.
Yep.
You have to keep doing it. Don't rest on the laurels of one successful guest night. Recruiting is a year-round thing. You know, and you're not selling barbershop, you're just making them aware. Hey, we have got this great chorus singing a variety of different genres of music, all in the barbershop style. I think you'll have fun. If you haven't sung since high school, now's the time to get back into it. Just give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Other things you can do for retention is to do a talent survey of all your people. Somebody may have experience in marketing or arranging, or maybe they're just a project manager, nothing to do with, but do you need a project manager in a chorus? Yeah, that would be helpful. Especially moving people around when you go to competition or even getting things done when you do a show. Having somebody that's project manager minded will be helpful. So consider doing that. Another thing is maybe annually or every other year, take a survey of the chorus, say, how are we doing? Are we taking care of you? Are we doing what you want? Do we have enough performances? Do we have too many performances? Are we doing enough social things? What's your one biggest gripe with the chorus? And get that feedback from them. It could have their names on it, it could not. But getting that feedback, instead of just doing what you as the board thinks is right, you work for the chorus. So does the director. So make sure you're going on the right path and you're continuing that way. That might be helpful. Okay. I wouldn't make it a long survey because people don't they sort of zone out after long surveys, but just getting feedback from the chorus is a good thing to do. Other things you can do in the chorus is you've got a variety of qualities of singers. I bet every chorus has somebody that just sang in the shower before they showed up and somebody else that may have a master's degree in music. All these different levels, and the director's trying to deal with that, but the music team needs to be there to help these people. And I think this is some place where all chapters could probably do a little bit better. Sometimes the section leader, for instance, might be just the best singer, the person that memorizes the music first, but may not have the skills yet because they haven't learned them to be a good section leader. To be able to support somebody, say, this is how you're singing it. This is what it sounds like. This is how we're trying to sing. Or have you tried singing a D at the end of the word instead of a T because the T comes out really loud. We're all in this to be better singers and better performers. And no matter how long we've been in it, even gold medalists get coached. So the skills from the music team need to be there to help these people. Maybe they're having trouble memorizing the music. Do you have good learning tracks? Is there someone here to help those people? Because if they get frustrated, what are they going to do? Too hard. Because when you're recruiting people, there are going to be some people that think, boy, I don't think I'm good enough to get in. And other people are going to say, well, these guys may not be as good as I think. Maybe I'm better than they are. And everything in between. So being able to deal with that's important. So the quality of the music team is important. And if they don't have the right skills, then we can deal with that. Bob, yes.
Yeah, I just put up, you were talking about a talent survey of some type of your members.
Yep.
I just put a link to the society website. It's in the member center, and it's actually called a member talent survey. And it's a great tool that we've initiated in the Salem chapters, that when you fill out your membership application, you fill out your expectation letter, you also fill out a talent survey, so that we can see what skills that you have that'll be able to help us in our growing process. Mm-hmm. As you said, it may be a treasurer, or a secretary, or a program manager, or a quartetter, or his prior history of singing. It's just got a great little resource tool that's there, and we're keeping track of those. So as we're looking for committee people,
yeah,
there's a great place to look.
Even if you got somebody that's got a literary degree and is really good at wordsmithing things, gosh, filling out an MC thing is great.
People that are in sales that have people skills.
Yeah.
So there's just all kinds of different resources that are available. We don't need to reinvent the wheel every time we go out to do something. There's places that we have these tools. Bob has access to them. I've got access to them. Bill has access to them.
Yep.
Sid and others, and Greg also, that are available from the society website.
I can personally attest to the value of this survey. We used it. Bob knows that I was president of the Bellevue chapter for 5 years. And at the beginning of the process, I used one of these, and we built a bank of jobs and stated expectation, and everybody would have something more to do than just sing on the risers. Did everybody do everything? Never would. But I had an 89% rate of people who did. an extraordinary number of people do an extraordinary number of things if you ask them to do. And filling out the talent survey, filling out a job survey, an interest survey, adding some questions. Up on the Healthy Chapter Initiative portion of the member website, member center, is a bank of questions you can ask to judge their interest in various aspects of the barbershop world, in addition to the survey that Bob has just put up there.
Yeah.
It's
It's
also included in the new member orientation, which is on the EVG website under, I believe it's under leadership.
Yep.
But so there's lots of resources available through the society and also through the district. And one of the things that's included on it is to ask them, what do they enjoy doing? So you get a handle on where they might be interested to be placed. Because if they enjoy it, they're probably good at it. If they're good at it, they're good at it because they enjoy it.
Yeah, we years ago we had guys that enjoyed golfing, and what they did is they set up a golf tournament for the chapter, and there were guys like myself who only golf maybe once a year at a fraternity reunion or something, and I suck, but I enjoy going out. But this person had the wherewithal and the connections and set up a golf tournament, and the deal was each foursome, when they got up to the pin, would have to sing a tag. And it just became a really fun outing. So social outings can be a really fun thing away from the risers. And you can get families involved or other chapters. Last year, our chapter had a picnic with the Seattle chapter. In the past, way past the 90s, our chapter had a Halloween party with spouses and stuff. Just fun things. Think on your own or ask people for stuff. Some people have a game night or a tag night over at somebody's house. But if you have something that's non-singing, you can get to know some of your members a little bit better. One thing that I've appreciated is every summer, most summers, our chorus has had what we call a quartet initiative. And what we do is we take all the members of the chorus and try to put them together by voice timbre, forming quartets. And those that don't want to do that or they're left over form a VLQ. But we go through for several weeks, and each quartet learns 2 songs. So during that, you get the quartet experience, for one, if you haven't had it before, and 2, you get to know these 3 other guys, which you may or may not have known before. Or I won't say all guys anymore, since there's some mixed choruses out there. So there are a number of things you can do socially or even on chorus nights to get people to know each other better, to break up the cliques, to make somebody want to stay around longer, because they come for the singing and they stay for the
Fellowship.
The fellowship. That's exactly right. So, questions?
Another thing I also put up there too is it's important that you have name badges for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's even if it's a paper one, if you can't afford a plastic one or one of the society ones that are available through the society, just a paper one, and it doesn't need to be a full name, last name, but just a first name works best. This way, it just helps you realize or be able to go up to somebody and say, "Hey, Bob, how are you? Good to see you. Glad you're here." And it doesn't matter what size of chorus you are.
Yeah, no, exactly. Name badges should be essential. Some courses have them like churches. They're waiting at the rehearsal hall, so you pick them up so you're not going to lose them. And other people take them home and stuff. So whatever system's going to work for you, I recommend that. And as I mentioned last week, when you have a new member or even a guest especially, imagine a guest comes the next week and there's already a name badge pre-printed out for him.
Nice.
How's that make you feel? Gonna make you feel good.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I've seen those round name badges from 30 plus years ago on eBay listing for $35 a piece.
if people need a resource for an inexpensive name badge, you can talk to other chapters. You guys, as Bob mentioned and Bill mentioned and Greg mentioned, both the Society website and the Evergreen website have a lot of resources on there if you take the time to look through it. Now,
let me step in on that one. Greg has put up there a link to the new member orientation that is up on the Evergreen website.
Yeah.
You have not looked at it. Do yourself and your chapter a favor and go do so. Spend 10 minutes. Look what's there. What Greg and his team have created is unique in the society. That you have a way to jumpstart so many different things about membership in your world, and the tools are there waiting for you. You use them, and you can get the people in your chapter on your look. Have the board go up there and spend time. There's something for everybody up there.
Mm-hmm.
If they go up on the board and on the website and they don't find something that they can use, we've done something wrong.
Yeah.
We
What
need,
I've tried to do is on emails that Greg has sent out for me, it has had shown the link to our recorded meetings previously, and also links to things both in the Society website and the Evergreen website. So it's not like telling you, here's an encyclopedia, it's in there. Because there is a lot on both sites, and I've given you a link to specific things which I think will be of interest to you. But if you're not finding what you need, we're here to ask. You're not alone.
question, how many, we have five chapters here. How many are actually getting and receiving chapter leader news? How many know what chapter leader news is? Okay, well that answers part of the question. We take our mailing addresses from the member center. If you haven't opened up your member center and gotten yourself in as an officer and stuff like that, you won't see it. And it's not something that we can have. We don't have the time, and it creates mistakes if somebody just comes in and says, here's my address, I'm the new president, please add it. Because we get everything officially through the member center at BHS. So please, and if you need help, Chris Powell can help you do that. Your chapter secretary should be able to help you do that, to get in and make sure that you are included, so that you get some of the mailings that we work so hard on.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Earlier, Doug mentioned that 1 year, as far as his registration coming up, it sort of went by the wayside or didn't get there in the mail or whatever. And then all of a sudden he got this thick packet and stuff. So to avoid things like that and to help retention, if you had your chapter secretary in a kind but not pressing way, go up to somebody and say, hey, John, I noticed your membership's coming up for renewal. Have you gotten that all taken care of? I just wanted to make sure the email got through because they're having problems at BHS or whatever it is. But just a little reminder, because sometimes it slips or gets covered away or what have you. We appreciate you here. We want to renew something. Okay.
And make a big deal out of when they do renew. Don't just sit there and go, oh, here's your card. Have a good day. Thank you. Don't just mail it to them.
No,
Make a ceremony out of it.
We do.
For every year that you're a member, you clap.
Yeah.
So if 5 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're 30 years, then you do it 30 times.
No.
And then make a big deal out of it. Bring them up front, hand them their membership card, and say thank you again for being part of it.
And we include a picture and put it on Facebook.
That's good for you.
Excellent. Some chapters will do it monthly or quarterly, and then they'll have a whole bunch, and they'll start obviously with 2 years, 5 years, and then all of a sudden, get your hands ready. Here's such and such. He's got 48 years.
And I've got friends that will comment on my picture and say, way to go. Wow, we didn't know you were in that long.
Yeah.
No one can lie.
And even something like this could be a notice in your local paper or email thing. If something big happens with your chapter, you're doing a show or a quartet's been together for 10 years, any publicity reason you can get out there is a good thing. You can present it to them. If they want to publish it, great. If they don't, no sweat off your back, but at least you gave it gave it a try. Okay.
Barber Shopper of the Year, your Hall of Famers, whatever you've got.
Yeah.
Take a picture, write a little article, and send it into your local newspaper.
Yeah. The local chapter is celebrating our 15th anniversary. Always looking for new members and stuff. Such and such has been a member in the Barbershop Society. Yeah. Anytime you can get that publicity, because as Greg, being the marketing guru for the district, knows, you have to get something out there a lot before people go, oh. So, any questions to this point? How many chapters have afterglows after the meeting? Great. There's another great chance to get to know your members better. So they're going to stay around a little bit longer. Okay. I mean, you don't have to get wild and stuff, but I think afterglows are a good way to get to know each other, and you should be doing that to whatever extent. So get to know your members really well. Get to know what they like. Try to maybe plan some social things away from the risers that people can get to know each other and have some fun, because it's the fellowship that keeps them around. Take attendance to make sure you're aware when someone's not there, and it's not 18 months like in the situation of Greg. Was it nice for that guy to come to his door? Yeah. Should it have happened a lot earlier? Yeah, it should have. People want to feel that they matter.
My small group, on the 5th Wednesday of the month, we get together for pizza. And we had an exercise where nobody was allowed to sit next to somebody that they knew really well. And then each individual introduced their partner, and then they introduced them. So they actually had an opportunity to introduce somebody that they may or may not have known very well. And the guys were just jazzed about that and said, when can we do it again? And I said, when we have the next day of the month. So,
yeah. So again, these are all suggestions. They're not hardcore silver bullets. It's going to do, but if you take some of these things to heart and make up what's going to work for your chapter, I think it'll make a difference in your retention. And lastly, when you get some senior members, as we all are, or many of us, I see Matt Erbst, I know you're on there, but you're not.
Neither is Abe.
It's that maybe memorizing the music's taking longer, or there are too many words, or we've had some people stop coming to our meeting, and I emailed them just out of the blue, and I'm not on the membership team, although I'm part of the chapter. I said, haven't seen you in a long time. He says, oh, I don't like to drive at night anymore.
We've got a couple of those.
You know, so looking for someone to carpool. It's an easy fix if you know about it and discover things like this sooner. A lot of times older guys don't feel appreciated because maybe they're not able to help with the risers, or they need to sit down for a little bit, but their voice is still good. Or maybe their voice, they can't sing as high as they would like to, or they used to, or as low. We had a guy that was switching back and forth between the baritone and the bass section. It was driving me nuts. And I said, pick a section. If you can't hit the high notes, don't sing them. If you can't hit the low notes, don't try to sing them. We've got enough people here. It's, if you know what you're not good at or know what you don't know, that's all right. But if you can get someone to stay in a little bit longer, and they may bring somebody else in, they've got a lot of knowledge. So having these people work with a younger person in a job, I think it is helpful. All too often in a chorus, you have one, John has always been doing this job in the chorus, always. You need to have a plan of succession for every job. And I think bringing new people along, showing the value, hey, I think you'd make a good MC. Have you ever done anything like that? I think you should talk to Bill Hickman, and here's whatever. But keeping the old people involved because of what they've been through, and bringing the new guys along and keeping them interacting instead of in their own little cliques. Probably the worst cliques that can happen is a quartet, where at break time they go off and rehearse.
what's worse is a quartet that is your second section leaders.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just horrible.
Yeah. a president of your chapter at one time. He was getting very disgruntled in the bass section because he kept lead section, kept getting negative feedback from the section leader. It was always negative, nothing positive, and no ways to fix it. Anyway, he ended up changing sections, singing a different part. So try to keep everything positive. And if there is somebody in your chapter that is negative, give them a talking to. Maybe they're the person that when they're standing next to somebody and someone's flat, they'll go, or the shoulder will go up, or they'll make a face or something. You know, we've all seen it and stuff, but again, we want to keep things positive because somebody may be having a bad day. They may be out of voice or what have you. Okay. We're not going to go the full to 7 o'clock tonight because there is a president's Zoom call at 7 o'clock, but any questions at the moment, specific things? This really hasn't been as much of a roundtable as I would like, but each one of these screens is a resource for you. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been to another chapter meeting just to visit? See how they treat guests. See how their rehearsal goes. Is it fun? Rehearsal should be fun. It shouldn't be work. There was a chorus that is now defunct, and when they were learning a song, they would learn 2 measures, and if it wasn't perfect, then they'd back up. And then they'd go up to 3 measures or whatever it was, and as long as it was perfect. When it wasn't perfect, they'd back up. And rarely in a rehearsal did they sing through a whole song. Is that a lot of fun? Not really. Conversely, if you're constantly singing songs and your director is saying, "Hey, all right, pull this one out. Now pull this one out. Okay, let's sing this one now," and you sing through them, and there's no comments of, "I think we could do this better." Have you guys thought about the pronunciation of this word, or maybe the facial expressions that you can emote right there? If you're not learning anything, it's not going to be as much fun. Mm-hmm. One thing that's been really helpful in our rehearsals lately is they've finally have a schedule. These are the songs we're going to go over at the rehearsal. Here's the schedule, so that people know what songs to work on that week. Now, fortunately, we don't have a super large repertoire, but some of the choruses have 35, 45, 50 songs, which can be great. I mean, it's a lot of variety, but if you're a relatively new member or an older member at the other extreme, keeping all those songs sharp, that's going to be a tough thing. And if you don't know what's coming up at rehearsal, it's a crapshoot. Oh, I didn't work on those songs this weekend. Dang. So again, your interaction as the membership person or the president with the music team and having the rehearsal be fun and scheduled. Maybe there's a place in the rehearsal if they're teaching a tag, just so it's a break from the other songs and stuff, or working on a polecat. When I first came to Bellevue in the 90s, we never sang polecats. And I went to the first convention. They said, "You know this?" I went, "No." Just as I've also been to conventions where someone, "Do you know this tag?" Because their chorus never sang a tag. These are some of the fun things in barbershop, mm-hmm. and they should not be left out. One thing that I was told last week from one of our members, everybody has their barbershop moment. You say, "What's your favorite barbershop memory, Bob Cox?" Favorite one. Go ahead.
Oh, now?
Right now.
I got 50 years of them, so it's
just give me a highlight. One highlight.
I'll give you one. It was 2002 International Convention. It was 2008 in Calgary, and I had the opportunity to stand on stage, a gold medal moment with the AIC chorus, and while they sang Ode to Joy, which was a combination of the Canadian national anthem and the U.S. national anthem, mixed to the tune of Beethoven.
Hmm.
Awesome.
That'll be great if we could get back to that. Jeez.
Yeah.
This guy last week was telling me that his barbershop thing was when he joined, he went to Harmony College Northwest his first year. And he found out because he found out that his course he was with gave a 50% scholarship to Harmony College Northwest. Well, he went there and didn't know anybody. He just joined and didn't know squat about barbershop. He had more fun and met more people. You know, when you can say, man, I had the greatest weekend. I sang with a guy from Medford and a guy from Edmonton and a guy from Boise. It was great.
Yeah.
You know, and all these things. So another way to aid in your retention is to maybe offer something like that to new members, maybe a 50% scholarship or whatever you want to do, but make it a special thing. Make sure they're aware of Harmony College Northwest and all that it offers, because I think it will, pardon the expression, plant the hook a little bit deeper.
Well,
And they'll stay around because they'll know that there's more to barbershop and the fellowship than just their little community, 8 to 20 guys or 30 guys in wherever. That there are people all over the Northwest, I mean, all over the freaking world that do what we do. And if they go to Harmony College Northwest, if they go in this year, they get to hear Lemon Squeezy. Oh, darn. Probably the new gold medalist. That sucks. But to have the opportunity to get coached by these people, what a great thing. So all these things we've talked about is like me coaching you, but much like coaching, if you don't follow through, if you don't check on your resources and read them, you're a resource for each other. There's no reason you can't reach out to another chapter and say, how do you handle this situation? What do you do? What's a typical guest night for you guys? Where's your most successful form of recruiting? All these type of things, all these resources, if you make use of them and you follow through. Follow through is the key thing. There was a guy that wrote an article in the Harmonizer about 10 years ago, because his chapter went from 24 guys to 48 guys in 1 year. Awesome. And I called him up. I said, how's your chapter doing now? Oh, we're back down to about 28. It worked so well that they stopped doing it.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't believe that attrition affects you. Even Paul Ellinger, who is the guru of membership, and he will be at Harmony College Northwest. Plus, there's a link to his
presentation.
help me out here, Greg.
His presentations.
I don't know. Is
That YouTube thing.
supercharging link?
Supersize your chapter or supercharge your chapter.
Yeah.
I gave you a link, and I'll be happy to do that again. But his chapter, he grew it because he has excellent skills at that and coaching, but the chapter stopped doing it. So they went up and they shrank back down. There's not an ideal size for a chapter size, but I'd like to get everybody 20 and above, because then you're not worried about a baritone or a tenor missing out. And so you can't do a performance because Harry's sick. Johnny's sick, can't make it. You don't want to have that. So we got to get everybody up to a sustainable level, if not 30, because then you got also people to do all these jobs. Some chapters have succeeded by going co-ed. Mount Baker Toppers have done that, and they're doing a great job. And many others have done that, and realizing you might lose a few guys that say, hey, I came into this for a guy's thing. Okay, maybe that's the deal. But a lot of courses have succeeded or are doing well being mixed. So since there's a president's thing coming up at 7 o'clock, I'm going to sign off. But the last thing I'll say, if you'd like to keep doing this, I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
If you want to reach out to me personally, that's fine as well. But I want to keep you guys moving ahead, and check in with me. If something positive happens in your chapter, say, we got 5 guys last month. I want to hear about it. Or we got 3. I want to hear about it. We want the success stories, and we want to spread those because some chapters are going gangbusters. Calgary's up to 50, I think. They went co-ed. The Seattle chapter, same thing. I think they're up to 60. Not to saying everybody's expected to do that because they're different population bases at where you are. But again, we want
you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you got to take one little bite at a time. So thank you all for showing up.
Bob, before you cut out of here, on this video or on this call right now are 4 district leaders, 5 district leaders, my bad. And we are available to help answer questions. We've got resources that are available. We know where things are at. Bob's doing a great job on the membership side. You got a great man in the communication side. You got a district president, an incoming district president, a past district president. We're all willing to help wherever we can. I want to specifically, again, thank Tim for being here as the new guy on the chapter on the board at the Medford chapter and a chapter that's rebuilding. Tim, is there anything that we can help you with right now? Do you have any specific questions or things that we can assist you with real quick?
Well, it's just building the course back up, of course. They had quite a few guys at one time. Thursday night we had 8. 1 baritone and 1 lead, me. And, you know, I don't know the guys that well. I just met them. I just came into this chorus in December, and then January met with you, which I really appreciated that. And then I was elected president. We didn't have a president. Our Larry, our past president, he was burnt out, and which I get it. Everybody gets burnt out every now and then. And I told the guys, I have no clue what I'm doing. I've only been in the barbershop for a while. I think October of 18. But hey, I'm hooked. And I told the guys, I just want to sing. Whether we go to contests, I don't care. Let's get together every Thursday night and sing. And that's what we're doing. So I already brought another lead into the group. Hopefully he'll be there Thursday. And let's grow. And all the information you guys had here is really awesome. I wrote it down, so I sure appreciate it.
Good. Well, if you need anything, Tim, don't hesitate to call.
Yep.
Okay.
And
I'm going to jump and get set up for the president.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, guys. See you in a bit.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Tim, as long as you're jazzed, that's the most important thing. We had a guy who's actually in our chapter that's a dual member with the Seattle chapter. And he'd only been in barbershop, well, actually a little more than you. He'd been in barbershop for maybe 3/4 of a year. And then he was elected president of the Seattle chapter.
Oh, goodness.
So he didn't know what he didn't know.
Yeah.
But I told him, 'cause I'm a past president of Bellevue, and we have several past presidents that are in the ranks, that if you need anything or have a question, ask. So he'll come up to rehearsal, Bob, I got a question. So there's email, there's phone. So don't try to do too much. Keep it fun, and keep members coming in. And if you try to do too much and you don't accomplish anything, you'll be frustrated, and we don't want that.
Well, Bob Cox said a good thing. Start with your polecats.
Yeah.
And start singing there, and get where you got it down really well, and then move on.
Yeah.
But it was a good idea, and that's what we're doing right now, and we're having fun.
And you got the learning tracks for those?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Cool. Well, thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you, everybody else, for attending. Nice to finally see you, Mark. And peace out, gentlemen. And I'm going to keep doing this, even though attendance has gone down on this. But next one will be probably more of a round table where people have specific questions, and we'll have a little more sharing of ideas versus a preach from the pulpit. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you guys
Bob.
a lot.
Thanks, Bob. Talk to you later, bud.